Hey, good afternoon, everyone. I'm WCIA3 meteorologist Jacob Dickey. We are live right now here with a storm update for you. I've got forecaster Seth Bohnhoff here as well. Seth's getting the sky cam up. You can tilt that up a little bit, Seth. Get a better view of the sky there as well for Champaign. We're going to show you the sky cam as these storms are rolling into central Illinois. Seth's going to take a look at some things for us here in a minute. I just want to give you a radar update and some of those warnings that we have. We'll do a little bit of coverage here, and as folks are checking on in, of course, let us know in the comments where you're watching from if you've got any reports. Got a handful of warnings, and we've had a little bit of damage in spots here already, but it seems like for the most part, things have stayed fairly tame in central Illinois, and we may get a few reports that sneak on in as well. So time now is 3:32. This is a look at Storm Tracker Doppler. We've got a line of strong to severe storms bisecting the area. They come from all the way down near Carlinville. They've passed through Springfield. They're now in Decatur, up towards Monticello, up to Paxton, and into southeastern Iroquois County. Two warnings in our area. One is for Iroquois County. The other is for Macoupin and Montgomery. In between, there's still strong storms, and they look quite menacing based on what we're seeing on the sky cams, but that threat overall here still there. We'll watch. Some of these storms may have more bark than bite, but we still think that there's going to be a bit of a wind threat with these. And then we are going to watch very closely the flooding threat for parts of central Illinois. Let's go from north to south. And then, Seth, I'll toss to you and so we can take a look at that camera coming in. We'll start up here in Iroquois County. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning here. And let me pick the warning information on. This is going to be for the southeastern part of the county. That leading edge of storms now is already past Watseka. Behind it, the severe threat pretty much done. Gilman, Onarga, Watseka, we're done there. Earlier, this line of storms did bring some pretty extensive tree damage in Kankakee. And there'll be pockets of that enhanced wind here. We had a lot of reports on the west side of Kankakee of some large trees blown over here. I haven't seen any reports further down the line. But it seems like the areas that are here are seeing that. And I'll zoom in a little bit. This is going to be one for 60-mile-per-hour winds. Notice the hail, less than 3/4 of an inch. Not really a day where we have to worry about hail too much, but there still is this line here, and that's where we get these little pockets of wind. That's going to be coming now from about Cissna Park up towards the north and east. It'll be at the state line there on 24. That'll be near Sheldon, moving to the south and east. Milford sits out ahead of here. Claytonville, we've got some of these areas, Wellington, to the south and east that are in that warning, and then Benton County, Indiana also is included in that warning. Further to the south and east in Champaign County, that sky cam looking a bit ominous, and it's quite impressive to see here. We'll show you that here in a second. That line of storms now is from Rantoul, south of Fisher, into Mahomet, Lake of the Woods, and then to the south and west towards Whiteheath, Monticello. A bit broken. It's not entirely everything too, impressive, but the shelf cloud on there is pretty impressive. And Seth, that camera, if you want to tilt it up, I don't know if you've got the right camera.
It's just, I've got it spinning.
Is it spinning?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we may have an issue with those cameras. You might just refresh that. Every once in a while, they inconvenience us at the most opportune time. So we're going to get a look at that here in a second and check it out. I've seen a few photos too. Pretty impressive. Further to the south and west, then that broken line continues into Macon County. We've got heavy rain now in the Decatur metro here towards 72 to the north and east, just past Argenta, now south and east of Oriana. That'll be coming towards Cerro Gordo, Beemet, down towards Atwood, and eventually here. That line continues into northern Christian County. No warnings in these areas that we're talking about. But then in the tail end of this here, this cell over Carlinville might be one to watch for some more 60-mile-per-hour winds and maybe up to quarter-size hail there. That in cell, we'll just watch here. That's moving more east and northeast. That'll carry perhaps closer to the southern part of Christian County before all is said and done. Do you want to mention a couple of alerts that we have? The severe thunderstorm watch goes until 9 o'clock. And that's for the counties in pink. We've already cleared Cass, and we've already cleared Livingston County. Pretty soon we may drop some more counties. I think we're pretty much done in Menard, Logan, McLean counties. Even DeWitt County and Morgan and most of Sangamon County as well are in the clear at this point from that. This line is the only thing that will come through with the chance for strong storms. Then it materializes into a flooding threat. And I'll show you that here with the graphic. You'll see here where the heat advisory continues. Where the storms have come on through, the heating of the day is done. It's humid out there today. Dew points in the upper 70s, and so folks are ahead of these storms are feeling like the triple digits. And there's that flood watch. We're focusing in primarily now. The greatest chance for flooding is going to be west of I-57, south here of Bloomington Normal, including Decatur, Springfield, Taylorville, Shelbyville, maybe as far east as Monticello and Clinton. Those areas have the greatest chance locally to see the flooding rainfall potential that we're concerned about. We are still going to get good rain here, I think, in spots of Vermilion and Champaign County as this line of storms comes on through. So that's what we're looking at and keeping an eye on things. So the heat index, you can see where it is. It feels like 76 in Jacksonville and in Springfield, 75 in Bloomington. Pontiac, though, is up to 98. We're going to talk more over here about radar. Seth, I'd like to toss it to you if you're ready. You kind of look at the cameras and getting things set here, and we'll have you at the quad for that. So whenever you're ready, you can head on over there. Seth's in here getting his feet wet as well with some strong storms coming on through, and he's going to talk to us a little bit more here. Of course, we're also looking at any reports that you have and any updates that you have. Moving fairly quickly here, moving to the east and southeast. That should get most of us in there. Seeing some folks saying that they've got rain, thunder, and lightning and things of that, whatnot. Some folks hearing that thunder, of course, and we don't expect really much in the way of hail to come from this. So this is where that line of storms is. Of course, you also get those updates. There's an alert issued for your area. That's on the WCIA3 weather app. You can program your location, and then you can also follow on Storm Tracker Doppler. There's a feature on the radar that you can look at Futurecast and see how these storms are moving on through, but they're here a little earlier. We thought that might be the case here as things materialized this morning. All right, Seth, let's talk more about what you're seeing in the camera, and I can jump over and move that camera. We'll take a look at some different sky cams if you're okay with that.
Yes.
And taking a peek here. So let me get there you are. Will tell us more of what you've been seeing here. You've been here through much of the day so far.
Yes, so at around 2 o'clock, it looked like there was not a whole lot of activity out there, but then we just kind of kept an eye on the radar. Me and Jack were in the studio for a little bit. He took off, and I just noticed some stuff start to pop up there just down around Morgan County, and then stuff started to pop up as well near Decatur. And you can see behind me right now here in Champaign, there was a big old cloud coming over here just a minute ago. It is starting to pass over. You can see the camera shaking quite a bit here. Saw quite a bit of lightning. It looks like rain is finally starting to pull in. We'll get a look there at that live radar. Yes, plenty of lightning associated with these storms. Have a nice little line here rolling its way into Champaign. Of course, we have that severe thunderstorm warning down there towards Macoupin and Montgomery. We're still dealing with that one up here towards Iroquois County as well. But as you can see, just lighting up the board here with lightning. Lots of lightning associated with the storm. A little bit of damaging wind. Again, these don't look like they will last very long. It looks like once it pushes through, it does not have much time sitting over one area, unlike the storms that we've seen a lot here the past several days that like to just sit over and just stall. And you see dew points. We are way up here as far as humidity goes. That's part of what's triggering these storms. We have all kinds of humidity in the air. And of course, you know how hot the temperatures have been all day long. Of course, just plenty of ingredients in here in play for some of these storms. See some of our gusts right now. Some of these storms start to push through. And of course, we're talking about with severe storms get up to 60-mile-an-hour winds there. And of course, these are some of the gusts that we are reporting in right now. Of course, we're still dealing with that severe thunderstorm watch until 9 p.m. Again, we've had a couple of counties pop off the board here. I'll show you in just a minute on the future track how we might expect another round here to come in later in the evening as well. Of course, still dealing with plenty of heat there with those heat advisories until 7 p.m. tonight. Had heat index values up towards 105 and 110 earlier in the day today. And of course, we're worried about this flood watch here. Again, I'll show you on the future track here in just a minute. There's another round of heavy rain. It looks like that's going to affect several of these areas. And of course, looking more down to the south has had plenty of rain. It's mainly been Effingham, Jasper, and Crawford that's gotten the most rain, but areas around here have gotten plenty of rain here in the last 24 hours, and it looks like there's another band of rain about to work its way in here not too long. And of course, this was our Storm Prediction Center outlook. We had that slight risk through here. That's exactly what we're seeing happen right now, and I'd say they nailed it pretty well. It looks like it just cut through diagonally here in the middle of the area. That's exactly what we've seen here so far this afternoon. Now we'll look at that future track and see again later tonight around 8 p.m. we have another round of heavy rain here coming into some of these areas. You can see close to Champaign, Decatur, and Mattoon looks to be places that are affected the most. And this does carry well into the evening as well. You can see more heavy rain there early into Tuesday morning there all the way at 4:15. But what we're seeing is by tomorrow towards the afternoon, a lot of this is going to start to clear out. Might still be dealing with a little bit of heavy rain in spots here and there, but overall it looks like our threat it's pretty well ended once we hit the heat of the day tomorrow. But again, we're worried about just plenty of rain coming out here in the next 12 hours or so. And again, we're just dealing with a few severe storms right now. It looks like most of them have kind of started to die off as far as severe warnings. But we have plenty of lightning, plenty of wind. And Jacob, will let you take it away there on that.
Yeah, you can see right now on the bottom monitor there on the camera. That's what's live on our digital platforms there. So I pulled up that Champaign camera. Yeah, it's pretty impressive looking shelf cloud coming in there, Seth, and the rain behind it and whatnot. It's breezy. You can see usually these cameras in Champaign are pretty steady.
Yes, absolutely.
They hold on. When the wind gets pretty strong, that's when we start to see them bounce around. That's probably seeing some gusts of 30 to 40 based on just watching it. The Springfield cameras.
Springfield is the one that usually likes to shake, but most of them, yeah, you're right. They do like to stay pretty steady. The Springfield one bounces it's like on a spring or something. But these Champaign cameras, when they move around, we take notice some stronger gusts out there. That's the one that's in Champaign at the Memorial Stadium. I got it looking perpendicular there to the storm. We're looking to the south and west, so the shelf cloud now moving overhead and moving on in. That rain going to be picking up too. I feel like we're going to hear that rain here in a minute. This is that Champaign camera. Let me go ahead and just pull this one down a little bit. I had it tilted up as the storm was sneaking on through, and I think we're going to go take a peek at it, look towards downtown. There's been some lightning. Something else, the lightning, pretty impressive. Yes, I mean, it's just been across the board. I noticed, like I said, when it started to pop up there at 2 o'clock, I just noticed the entire cell, when it was just little cells there at the beginning, was just full of lightning, just plenty of lightning associated with it. And although we may be getting some intense winds here, it's good to see some rain starting to blow through Champaign. I know we missed out on it the last couple days. Of course, we missed out on it all summer long. I don't need to remind anybody of that. But it's good to see a little bit of rain coming in here. Let's hope it's not too much at once, but right now things are looking good, and things are looking good overnight for some more rain, adding on to that as well.
Yeah, we went. You know how storms could be around here. Sometimes they can skip around town, and this one looks like we're going to get at least some good rain. We've got that Champaign camera up. A spot that's been getting some good rain here is Decatur. They've been really seeing the rain come on down. That's a look right now in downtown. I suspect, knowing the intensity of these storms and how much moisture there is, how much instability, some of those familiar spots in Decatur probably are close to flooding again here. And you can see some of those cars in downtown. Of course, headlights on, wipers on. Visibility is pretty reduced there as this rain is coming on in, and that's something that's pretty impressive to see, those rainfall rates. Let's go to Gibson City. The storms, there's a flash of lightning there. Here's Gibson City. Storms are done there. I tell you what, Seth, at the beginning of the summer, that grass was brown there.
I know.
We got some standing water in the field, it looks like.
Yes, it does. And I was taking a look at that camera earlier before we went live, and there was, another shelf cloud rolling in there. It looks like it's come and gone. But, it was an impressive view here from Gibson City. They're out by the ball diamond, and, it looks like it's come on through and done its work there so far. And it continues to push here through the middle of the area. Again, we're not looking at too much severe stuff as it sits right now as far as active alerts. We do just have a couple out there.
Yeah, it's just mainly Iroquois County, and that's because of some of the storms that were up north and the wind damage in Kankakee. Chicago area seems to have gotten the worst of the wind, which doesn't surprise me all that much, but we still got some time in the area. This is that Danville camera. Ahead of it, it's been pretty breezy today with that south wind coming in, and then you'll see that wind turn the west. I see in the comments up here on the TV, someone said, where was it? It says, I think they said they had just wind of North Prospect is what I saw. And you will get the wind first, then the rain will follow. You get that cold outflow breeze. And when that happens, that's what that shelf cloud is. It blows on through, you get the wind pick up, and then the rain and the lightning will follow. I saw a comment as well in Mahomet. They said the Sangamon Forest Preserve, that's north of town towards Fisher. They said they were having intense lightning up there. That's absolutely true, isn't it, Seth?
It comes to absolutely no surprise. And you mentioned all those shelf clouds coming through. We had several good pictures of them yesterday. It just seems like these storms lately have just been looking very ominous as they roll in. And we've sseen, again, several of those today, even a couple here on the live camera as we've looked around.
Yeah, it's kind of fun to take a peek around here. This is down in Charleston. It's still hot there. What's that bank camera? 91? Whew.
91, yep.
Yeah, every once in a while you see the snow cone stand there. Today's a day where you need one of those or a cold drink with these storms coming on. And then when the storms approach, you got to get inside with the lightning to sneak on in. So it's moving through. It's moving fairly quick. NWS has suggested 20 to 30. We think it might be picking up a little bit here. I will say the closer it gets to Charleston, the less instability that can be used is there. That's why that severe threat diminishes a little bit. But still, there's plenty of energy there for storms and some of that wind. And really on a day like today, Seth, the instability has been the key. We don't have a lot of wind shear out there. We've just got some of that instability, and that's pushing the storms up. I was on my way back here from Springfield, and they were just popping quick. All that rising motion, you get a lot of mass up above, and you got a lot of weight in the atmosphere. It's got to come down.
I would say that's exactly what happened, because earlier today we were looking at a line of storms. I think before Jack left around 1 o'clock, there was just a line that wasn't even quite in the state yet, and it looked like that was kind of starting to fall apart. But me and Jack noticed a couple of clouds ahead of that line, and that's exactly where everything just started to pop up. You're right, that instability really just came to form there, and it just formed quite a sharp line. And again, it just started off as a couple of cells, but that's exactly how it was a couple days ago. One little cell cell, turned into just this big mass. And that's exactly what was happening there with all that instability. And now we're getting plenty of lightning, plenty of rain out of the system now as well.
Yeah, so, okay, we've got that camera up. I'll let you get back to your computer, and then I'll go ahead and drive radar for you here in a little bit. I'm just reading one of the technical discussions that the National Weather Service has, and they're mentioning that they are seeing the chance for some of these storms to perhaps continue strengthening, particularly in east central Illinois and west Indiana. That's going to be ahead of this line here. And I don't disagree with them here. The strongest storms do seem to be northern Vermilion County and the southeastern Iroquois County. Doesn't look quite as impressive here from Champaign down to the southwest. There's still lots of lightning. There's still that gusty wind. And then we do have more storms as well from St. Louis. But this last little sliver in here is probably where we'll continue watching along I-74 and north of I-70 here for the next few hours. That's what we do. Of course, we're going to babysit these storms with you, but a lot of folks saying, this big shelf cloud's coming. This lightning's crazy. And that's certainly something that we'll continue to keep an eye on here for the next little bit. Just those two warnings. The one thing, though, that will become more problematic the later we go is going to be that flood threat. I want to mention that again. This is that flood watch. I'm really interested and maybe a little concerned that we may get some totals of 3, 4, 5 inches here as the additional rain and storms develop tonight. And what will happen, we think, is we get a cluster of storms that sits close by and stalls over some area. We saw that happen the last couple of events where somewhere just got more rain. Last time it seemed to be Effingham, Jasper, Crawford County. This time it's somewhere in here, and that likely will bring a flash flooding threat. I don't think it's going to be for the entire area. I think we're going to look at a little zone, but if that sets up over a populated area, that may mean some problems here. So just be aware of that. So, you might think your sump pumps, check them, make sure they're working here. A lot of folks have been getting all of this rain and whatnot here. So, all right, you got the
starting to hear some pounding on the roof here. Heard a little bit of wind outside. And yeah, looking at that camera outside of the studio right now, you can see plenty of rain starting to push through as it finally starts to go overhead here in Champaign. Of course, much needed rain coming through, and
of course, I'm just switching
these storms, although not severe, there's plenty of action to them, plenty of lightning, plenty of gusts. Even though they do not reach that severe threshold, there's still plenty that can come out of these things just because it is a very well-defined line right now. Of course, plenty of instability, and they, of course, can strengthen as they push on through and head to the eastern part of the area as well.
Yeah. The lightning has just been just bogus. When you get big, and there's so much humidity and heat here, the instability, that is just a recipe for all that lightning here. One cool thing that we can do, Seth, go ahead and pause that real quick, and then we can actually scope and see how much lightning is going. You can take the question mark there and just click and drag it across an area. Just in the area between Bloomington, Decatur, and Champaign, in the last 15 minutes, that's 1,000 strikes. Good grief. So we're looking at 3,000-4,000 strikes an hour on average, just in that little segment of the line right there. So Champaign-Urbana, we're about to get some thunder boomers here. And, it looks like we got a new warning, actually. You see that there?
Yep, just came up.
That just came on in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch here. And pretty quick, I think you'll have to head over to CI Living. Am I right about that? That's coming up?
Yes, Scott. 10 minutes till 4.
10 minutes? Like. Okay. I need to do the quad wall. I'm going to stick that on max 2. And I'm just going to do a little bit of work here on this new severe thunderstorm warning. So here we go. That's the wrong one there. There we go. We're just going to talk here. This is Radarscope. We like to use different products to look at storms in different ways. There's a new severe thunderstorm warning out. And Seth, if you want as well, go ahead and post a graphic for that.
Yep.
While I'm talking over here, you can take care of that. That is going to come out for, I believe, is that part of Champaign County I see on there?
Yep, looking
from
like the
Champaign,
southwest
Urbana
corner.
down towards Decatur, it seems like.
Looks like it's catching Passone
and that will pop up here on this graphics, the Radarscope program shortly. That just came out a few seconds ago. That's for this line that right here, that stronger part of the line that's rolling into town. It doesn't surprise me. When I switch over to velocity, there you can see an update. We've got some pockets of some more enhanced wind, it looks like. Looks like there's one here near Decatur, what I'm looking at, and there's that yellow box that came out. It looks like Mount Zion, probably getting some good wind in there. And just checking the estimates, the radar is detecting 50 to 60 mile per hour winds there. So it looks like Mount Zion, as that carries off to the east, that'll come pretty close to US 36, slide off to the east there. You'll be heading towards Garrett and Atwood. You'll be heading towards Cerro Gordo, maybe north of Lovington. It may take a little more of a south and east jog too, so I don't want to rule out Dalton City, Bethany, and Sullivan on that. And eventually get to Arthur, Atwood, and into parts of Douglas County, maybe even Coles County. So we'll watch that here with that spot of wind. The other spot of wind, it looks like from Monticello south, and I'd be interested in the Allerton Park area here. I'd be real interested to see about those. And Seth, I heard the audio come on for the show. Can you switch that dial off real quick for me?
There we go.
Thanks. Another core of wind coming in through the central part of Piatt County. That's going to be heading, I think, more Pasodum, Tolono, and Savoy. That'll include Sodorus and Ivesdale. There's Bement. Really between Monticello and Bement there. It'll be interesting to see if those power lines up there have any issues. Those big tall poles that go from Bement to Monticello and then off to the east. And so we'll watch as that carries into parts of Champaign County. As far as Champaign County goes, this warning actually doesn't include Champaign-Urbana proper. It does include Savoy, though. And that'll also include Tolono and Pasodum. It's going to include areas south of Seymour. It does not include Rantoul. Mahomet, we're all good. We've still got rain and storms, but the severe threat's done there. Though I do think that maybe we may see some of this wind pick up a little bit here. There's been some breezes in Champaign, that's for sure. And just kind of checking those comments. The temp has dropped. It looks like we got some power out in Rantoul. I think it may just be me. It seems like Rantoul, you get a cloud over the sun, and sometimes the power goes off up there. So we'll look into that. If you've got any specific reports, it very well could be wind damage on a day like today. But the Doppler radar here that we've got in Lincoln doesn't suggest there's as much strong wind up that way. Simple lightning strike might do the job there. Further north, as we get to Iroquois County, I'm going to switch the radar real quick and kind of look at it from a different vantage point here. That's the Chicago radar. There's likely some strong winds from Hoopeston up towards this county line east of Milford. That's almost out of Iroquois County. We're pretty much good on I-74, Paxton, North, Cissna Park, and Milford. There still is going to be rain, and with the severe threat here, here we go. Paxton, I-57, I'm sorry. I-57 north is going to be okay and clear as far as that looks here across central Illinois. But that's the warning now that's just been added. It's going to include Champaign, parts of far northwestern Douglas County. Does not include Tuscola. I think it's going to include my favorite little city, Chicken Bristle, right there in the northwest side of the county. It's going to include the southern half of Piatt County, southeastern Macon, and the northern half of Moultrie County, north of Sullivan, north of the lake for Shelbyville, but there are still storms coming in there. And then as we switch radars to the Lincoln one, get a better look here. Pana, Nokomis, Litchfield, those areas still going to get rain and storms. But that is something that we'll continue to watch. Something interesting I see here, as far as the wind goes, follow along here. There's a line right here. I don't know if you can see that very well. You can really see it down here. That is going to be the shelf cloud, the leading edge of the wind. As these storms, they get a lot of vertical motion. The motion then switches. The gravity takes over. It pulls all that moisture and rain down, and it blows the air out ahead. Once it hits the earth, it can't keep going through the earth. It's got to spread out, and it spreads out ahead of those storms. And that'll kick that shelf cloud further ahead. So you're likely seeing that shelf cloud now crossing from Pana down to Nokomis and Litchfield up towards Assumption, Moequa. But the part where the warning is here, the shelf cloud's close in line with the storm here. So the stronger winds are closer to the storm, and so there's still some momentum there that'll keep that wind up. That's going to include the warning that just got posted out there. And looks a little more broken here. I mean, there's still plenty of rain and wind. I don't hear much. I got a hearing aid. But I haven't heard any thunder here yet. Have you?
It's just a lot of wind. It sounds
just a lot of
thunder
wind.
a few
is that
minutes
what that
ago.
is? Yeah,
Yes,
there's
the
a
wind.
flash right there I just
Yep.
saw. We'll probably hear a boom here in a second. And that's not the footsteps of our audio guy walking by. Michael's here. I think I just heard that. You hear that rumble in there? We're hearing it. I know you guys are too. You let us know what's going on there in your area, and we'll continue to see that. So that's with these storms that are moving off to the east. All right, Seth, if you want to click cut real quick, I'm going to move off this. You can just do it on the switcher for me, and that'll make it a nice clean break there. We're going to just go back full screen. You're getting ready for CI Living here. That's right?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, you're getting ready for CI Living. You know, new to the team, we're having a good time here, of course. You are going to share people about what's going on, about who you are, and right? That's what you're doing there?
Well, they're doing the Ask Meteorologist. We're
Yes,
doing
okay.
They're going to do 2 truths and 1 lie, just about weather knowledge in general.
That's good. Hey, I don't know if you noticed this. I'll turn your mic off. It looks like they've upped the warning for parts of Champaign, Douglas, Piatt, Moultrie, and Macon counties. That warning is now for 70-mile-per-hour winds. And that is something that's, did you see that 70-mile-per-hour winds with this storm? Yes. So I'm seeing that yellow box there. I think that's what that's going to be. So that certainly, it was 53-mile-an-hour gust out of Decatur, it looks like. It's really coming down in Champaign-Urbana here. They have issued that warning for, let me just pop up the text to make sure I'm seeing that correctly. 70-mile-per-hour winds, radar indicated. That's what the Mount Zion and the Monticello area with those storms. And so that's going to be something we really got to watch. The National Weather Service saying this could cause some considerable damage for parts of the areas that are in that warning there. So that 70-mile-per-hour wind threat, that's up, I think, from the original, isn't it? Yeah, they just upped that a little bit. I haven't had any reports in that area, but we know that they're seeing the same thing we were. We were talking about that pocket of wind that was coming out of Mount Zion and then south of Monticello. So this could be some problems for Tuscola eventually. Could be for north of US 36 corridor, I think, is where this strongest of the wind is going to be. So that's... Is that the rain I hear? Yes. I keep hearing it. I'm like, what is that? That's the rain. We got that rain coming in. So that's going to be something we got to watch closely here. The one thing I will say, there's that core of wind. That strongest wind now is Saragota down towards Laplace, Hammond, Atwood, Garrett, Lovington, Arthur. That's the area I'm most concerned with at this point, maybe as far south as Bethany. It looks like it'll stay north of Sullivan. But what I see here is, see those reds pick on up? That's going to be the strongest of the wind in this area here. And let me get my right camera up. There we are. This is where that core of enhanced wind is. That's going to cross Illinois 32 here. You take 32 down towards Sullivan, and that goes straight north up towards the Cisco area. South of Saragordo, Laplace, Hammond, Lovington. Really concerned about strong damaging winds in Lovington. Hammond, Garrett, Atwood, Arthur. The one thing I will say about a day like today, though, is thankfully the storms do not have indications of rotation. There's not a lot of wind shear. That's a good thing for us here is you really need some wind shear to have tornadoes. We just don't have it. We just got an insane amount of instability, and so that's something that we'll continue to watch. This is a look now on Neal Street. That camera there, visibility is really down outside. It is huffing and puffing out there. We've got plenty of heavy rain in town. We'll likely see some ponding of water. The good news is that this initial line is, this line moves on through, and it gives us a little bit of a break. And so I'm not concerned about a significant flooding threat, but certainly if you're out there in the heavy rain, it's going to pond in the water and the roadways pretty quickly here in parts of central Illinois. And so that's something that we're going to continue to monitor and keep a close eye on here for a little bit. So that's what we have. We're just going to stick with it here. I do want to, at some point, I'm going to try and get some photos that I got from Monticello on. Let me just pull up my Apple TV. These are, I'm sorry, not Monticello. This is from Kankakee. A lot of tree damage up there on the west side of town. Multiple reports of large trees uprooted. That's what 60, 70-mile-per-hour winds are going to do. I had those photos come in and shared them on my Facebook page, and we will expect some of that perhaps in the Lovington, Atwood, Arthur area. I won't rule that out, though, with the rest of the line, but the line really seems to be picking up the most coming out of Mount Zion. So that area, US 36 between Decatur and Tuscola, is the strongest, the greatest concern right now with these storms that are moving on in, and will continue to do so. And so that's what we're looking at. You can almost see here the motion. There's that leading edge of the wind right there, and that wind is going to be moving generally in this direction. So Lovington, Arthur, Laplace, Atwood, Garrett, those are the concerns that I have now for the strongest straight line winds. And when I show you the velocity, you see those colors that pick up a little bit? That is what we'll watch and keep an eye on here for a little while. That's it. It's right over Laplace. Wow, okay. Those are some strong winds that are being detected by Doppler radar here, and I just pixel query that. Of course, that's telling me the severe thunderstorm warning. That's fine. Radar is suggesting there's 60 to 70 mile per hour winds out of that. What I want to do is I'm going to drop the text if I can. Sometimes it just takes me a minute. Okay, we won't worry about that. But that is an indication to me of some 60-mile-per-hour winds in Laplace, Lake City, Hammond, Garrett. Those are the areas we are most concerned with at this point with those storms. Looks like we just got a report of 1.76 inches. Philip saying that was on the west side of Decatur. These are prolific rain producers. And looking here in town as well, there's some strong wind and rain on that as well here in the region. So that's what we're watching. My producer is here, Tristan. You want to talk to me real quick? We're just on digital, but we're watching these storms coming through. What can I do for you?
You're going to need more time in 5?
Yes, please. That'll be good.
Off the top or in your regular section?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah, I could probably get an extra 30 in Maine, but whatever you can give me off the top too. Are we going to start with weather, like forecast first, and then another hit, or?
I can give you more time and forecast first if you want.
Yeah, let's just plan for more time somewhere at this point. But if we see these storms with strong winds, 70-mile-per-hour plus, we start getting damage reports, then we may want to lead with weather.
So minute 15 for forecast first?
Yeah, and we can kind of figure out what we want to do at the top of the show, if these, especially with some of the wind I'm seeing here on 36. So cool. You can just text me too. I'll see it, and I can take care of that. You're going to see some of the behind-the-scenes work here as we are streaming and keeping an eye on. So the okay, I just want to look at power outage numbers. We have not had any issues here at the station, but there are a number of outages. Statewide total is up to 16,000. A lot of those in Kankakee County, but there's some sporadic outages being reported across the region as well. I'm real interested. If you know someone in Laplace, Hammond, that area is going to be the strongest of the winds from what I'm seeing here, and is the greatest concern right now. Further up the line, we've still got some 40, 50-mile-an-hour gusts that are coming in. That's going to be Sodoris coming in towards Pasotum, Tolono, Philo here before long. The warning goes for 70-mile-per-hour winds. You see the difference in color gradients here. Look at all those pink colors and almost white colors that are down here. More red, that's a weaker wind signature, but I still think there'll be some good wind coming to Tolono, Pasotum. Eventually you'll see to the east, southeastern Champaign County, you'll be next in line. Douglas County, you'll be next in line. I think we're going to get an extension of this warning before all is said and done. That will come soon, and so that's something that we'll continue to watch and keep a close eye on here for a little bit while longer. Just want to do a reset regional view here, and then if we can, we're going to take some questions and see if there's any other reports. I've been keeping an eye on those reports. Bement getting some crazy wind. Dalton City, Brenda is there. Somebody asking about further down line. And the question, honestly, was Tuscola. We're watching this area now. The immediate concern, the greatest concern is in front. Next in line is going to be I-57. That'll be from Pasotum down towards the Mattoon-Charleston exit there. That's going to be by Humboldt, Arcola. Those areas are next in line, but our immediate concern is where the strongest wind is. That's on 36 there near Atwood. It'll continue its east and southeast track. We don't have a warning right now for Tuscola, but it will likely be coming soon. And so we're giving that first heads up for Tuscola areas towards Arcola, down towards Arthur, and even as far south as Humboldt, areas north of Mattoon-Charleston, and through Douglas County. So don't want to say you're not getting it. Just at this point, the storm's still enough to the west where we'll watch and see how it materializes. Sometimes what can happen is you get all the wind and it comes blowing down, and as it does so, the wind sweeps on out and then it loses its momentum and it's weaker. It just has the core that dumps on there. And so that's something that we'll continue to watch and keep a close eye on. Again, Champaign-Urbana to the north and east. The line a little more broken there, a couple of spots. St. Joseph up towards 136 east of Gifford. There's a couple of little cores there. But I'm still interested in the Champaign area line here. And as I look at, there's a good rumble of thunder. This is a good old storm. Some of you know that you follow on my Facebook page. We talked about, hey, I'm going to say as a joke, no rain for Champaign County, Champaign-Urbana. We're getting it finally. So it looks like our reverse psychology works. That's good to hear. What was I going to do? I was going to show you real quick the Neal Street camera. Let me just pull that in here. And then we'll take another Skycam tour and kind of look around. It looks like things have maybe improved a little bit. It's still heavy rain. It's still frequent lightning. The wind, the leading edge of the wind is now probably on the east side of Urbana, but there still could be some gust of wind in here. So we'll watch. The worst of the storm is south of Champaign-Urbana, but it is still a good storm, a good soaking storm here. I can hear all the rain on the roof. I did see something, I think it was a Brenda, about Dalton City saying it was pouring hail. Brenda, if you can give an estimate to that size, that'd be something that's helpful. Whenever we look at hail size, we like to compare it to, whether it's a nickel or a penny or a dime or a quarter, things like that. And then if it gets larger than that, you start thinking like, half dollar, ping pong, golf ball, baseball, softball. We don't have anything like that concerned. Really, today's hail threat's pretty minimal. It's that wind threat that's the most to watch, but we can still get some small hail mixing on in there with the wind. And so that's something that we'll continue to watch. So, of course, main concern now is this little segment here on 36 east of Decatur, and that's going to continue off to the east. We'll switch over to Iroquois County, the core of the storm now in Hoopeston to the north and east. There are severe thunderstorm warnings in Iroquois County, Watseka, Cissna Park. You're in the clear at this point. This is mainly Hoopeston to Milford and to the east, almost out of Iroquois County. So we'll see that rain and storms continue. Monticello, I can give you an all clear now, all clear in Argenta and Oriana from this line. But remember, more rain and thunderstorms expected later. Looks like, let me just check here. Seeing something on our other camera. More rain and storms later. The severe threat will be lower, but the flooding threat is what's going to pick up here. And that's what we're concerned about is that if we get more rain and storms. At this point, let me show you real quick. At this point, I'm going to expand the radar. There's not much to look at on the back side here, but we expect the rain to fill in here. And that's going to fill into our region. And so that's something we're going to monitor. So there'll be more rain and storms here tonight. We get this initial line coming through, and that's our severe threat for the day. Areas north of it are clear. Springfield, we're done. Decatur proper, the severe threat is now to the east. Clinton, Lincoln, Bloomington, Gibson City, Watseka, Pontiac, Jacksonville, all finished with the severe threat here. The watch will come down with time. That severe thunderstorm watch now here still has some of those areas, but we can say with decent confidence, those storms come through, they use that instability in the atmosphere, they wash it out, and that doesn't become a concern for us. And so that is something that we're going to watch and keep a close eye on here for a little while longer. Let me turn on the lightning real quick. Let me get my lightning count on. I'm going to check that lightning. I mean, there's some prolific thunder boomers in here. There's plenty of lightning still here in the Champaign-Urbana area. There's an abundance of that. So we're getting an electric storm. From what it looks like, I saw some fire trucks in one of our camera going by. I think there's a couple fire calls. Usually you get a little surge of power. One of those buildings, lose a little bit of change in water pressure or things of that. Yeah, so there's a couple of calls here just for some, alarms going off is what it sounds like. So we've got some in John Street, Elm Street, and Crescent Drive that crews are responding to. Now, that happens when we get big thunderstorms. It's been a while since we've had a good storm here in central Illinois, Champaign-Urbana in particular. We've had good storms elsewhere, but this to me is one of the more notable ones that we've had in a while. And so, you get a lightning strike, things of that. They're going to go check and just investigate. But I don't have any confirmed reports of anything bad. But those calls are going to come on in as these storms continue. The lightning to me, look, if you look here, there's a good core over Champaign. I would argue that the core from Decatur to the east, that one looks a little stronger to me. And that's where that leading edge of wind is. That's where we're most concerned about. Let me just do a lightning check here. From Decatur to Monticello, in that area, we've got over 900 strikes. And then in the segment from Monticello to Champaign, we've got about 500. And it's still intense, don't get me wrong. We're still getting a good storm here, but where that most lightning is, that's where my concern is for some of that enhanced wind potential as it rolls into parts of, and let me get my velocity up just to see the update. Whew, okay. Between Lovington and Hammond, Hammond, Arthur. That's some strong wind in there. Let me just sample that. See if I can get that to show up right here. That's not working like I want it to. It never does it? Okay, we've got that severe thunderstorm watch. What I want to do is, I mean, you see that little spot of wind in there? We're getting wind estimates of 60 to 70 mile per hour winds now coming into Arthur. So that is a concern that we have here. Really concerned for Arthur, Lovington, Hammond at this point. If anyone's in LaPlace, that is, it'd be interesting, Lake City, LaPlace, to see if there's any damage indications from there. And it seems like it's taking a little bit of a south jog. That's good news for Tuscola. But the area of greatest concern at this point, and I'm going to do a social media post just for this, so bear with me, I'm kind of double dipping here. There's some intense wind coming through Lovington right now. Lovington, I know earlier this season got hit pretty hard. They had a power outage for a while. And it seemed like it was like 18 hours or something this summer. So 412p, strong winds of 60 to 75 mile per are currently near Lovington, moving east. This is our area of greatest concern. Heads up Arthur, Arcola, Humboldt. I'm going to put Atwood in that. I think it'll stay south of Tuscola. We're going to go put that in the list too. And let me just push that out here. Okay, there's a new severe thunderstorm warning down in Macoupin County that just came across the wire. So we've got that covered. That one storm there. Looks like here there's some intense wind now coming into Willard Airport. I see a core developing. There you kind of see those pinks picking up. And I'm going to do another post on this one, because that one for Tolono and Philo. Oh yeah, that wind really picking up. Okay, I just texted my director, my news director, because I want to get her in here real quick and to just talk about this. That's going to be very near Willard Airport. Megan's saying she can confirm high wind. It looks like it's dropping onto Tolono right now. And that's going to be a concern for us. So let me just do this as well. 414p. Raining a little bit?
Yeah, how much longer?
I'm probably going to be on through 5.
No, I mean, how much longer for the rain?
25 minutes?
Okay.
Okay. 414, new area of enhanced wind developing over Willard Airport, moving southeast towards Tolono, Philo, Broadlands, Sodom, Allerton, and surrounding areas. Okay. Oop, let me get that pushed real quick. Okay, got both those pushed here real quick. Again, that's where we're concerned is, these areas of wind will develop. We get this core aloft and it drops on down. So I'm going to be very interested in those spots here, south of Champaign, Willard Airport, Philo, that storm core, this is in the middle of the rain is the other thing. It kind of looks like it's picking up Tolono, Philo, Pasodum, south and east is the next area we'll be watching and keeping a close eye on. Going to try, and the wind really looks impressive to me, still coming into Arthur. That's the other area that really sticks out to me, and so that is we're going to watch. There's a new warning as well. Want to mention that down by south of Carlinville. That's in southwestern Macoupin County. We're going to keep a close eye on that. Let's go to Vermilion County real quick. We've got no warning in Vermilion County. The line of storms is from Hoopeston towards Ogden. That'll be crossing somewhere close to Armstrong, Potomac. It'll be moving to the east. I don't have any concern at this point for strong damaging winds there, but we're going to watch that segment of the line in these areas here, and so that's going to be something we'll continue to monitor and keep a close eye on. So we'll watch that. Again, I got these two areas that I'm most concerned about. One here in the south side of Champaign over Savoy. Another is in northern Moultrie, southern Piatt County, and that's going to continue its east-southeastward track. Arthur, Arcola, maybe as far south as Humboldt. That's the area for this southern batch. And then this batch here from Pasodum, Savoy, down towards Allerton, Broadlands, Longview, and that may make it into northern Douglas County. We'll watch and see. That's probably bringing some big wind to Tolona right now at this point, too. So if you've got any reports, things of that, where it's heading. Hey, Seth is back. How'd it go?
Went well.
Cool.
Heather went 1 for 4.
She went 1 for 4.
Yep.
How about that? But she had fun?
Yeah, oh, yeah, she had fun.
Good, good, good.
I told her I was...
Can you run to the newsroom and let them know that we need to be real listening closely to, well, we got some 60 to 70 mile per hour winds is what things are. Let me pull up the, actually, let's just go ahead and just keep doing this here, and we'll see if we get any reports. Tolono getting hit hard at this point, and then that storm near Moultrie County has got some strong winds. So wind is pretty strong at Willard. We're going to watch that. I do see in Woodland, that's Iroquois County, a few trees down. Barb, if you got a photo of that, go ahead and message me. That's something else I need to do is take a check on Messenger. What I'd like you to do, Seth, is can I have you come over here and drive for a little bit? Is your mic, you're getting your mic back on? Okay, he's getting his mic back on. I'm going to have you drive a little bit, and I'm going to kind of take a look at some things and just check the Messenger and the inbox to see, but I'm really interested in the, oh man, I got like 40 messages. Really interested in those areas down Moultrie, Piatt, and southern Champaign County where these strongest cores of wind are at this point. No damage in LaPlace reported from Terra. They know of none, but they have lost power. And that doesn't surprise me with the strength of those storms. And so that's something we're going to watch and keep a close eye on. Yeah, I want to get some stuff taken care of. So you can come here, Seth, and I'm going to pass it over to you. Of course, they've got the CI Living up, so you can't see the monitor there. But I'm just going to have you drive here and keep an eye on things for a little bit. We're doing some digital work right now, live on TV. So you're going to take over. I'll talk to Andy and just kind of talk through the storms, and I'll switch my mic off. And Andy, we can chat real quick. Let me switch my mic off.
So obviously I've been out of the loop here for just a little bit, but it looks like we've got a couple of severe storms that have extended their coverage area. It looks like we've got parts of Douglas County now included in that. And just in the other room there earlier, I just heard plenty of wind, plenty of rain. It's howling out here right now out in this direction. Take a couple looks here at the current watches just to make sure. Yep, still have that severe thunderstorm watch for most of the area. Looks like the only places that are not included in that are Livingston, Cass, and Crawford. And I looked earlier at one of our future track models, and it looks like once this line passes through, we could see very well another line tonight, and that's exactly what this flood watch is all about. It's looking like that western half of the area is the one most at stake here as far as that extra flooding that might go down. Looking like there's going to be some heavier rain building up on that side of the viewing area. And as we've seen a lot here the past few days, we've seen plenty of showers and storms just stalling in one place. We're not particularly expecting that with this next set of storms, but it looks like there's going to be plenty of heavy rain, that it will just be not moving at the greatest pace into the overnight hours. And we're looking at a pretty good percentage of rain for most of the overnight hours tonight as we roll into tomorrow. And it's looking like by morning time tomorrow, most of this stuff will have calmed down, or excuse me, afternoon time by tomorrow is when most of this stuff will be out of here, at least for the time being. But of course, and we just got a big ol' zap here at the studio. I just saw left and right here. That one
probably-
may have just been in our
That
backyard.
probably hit the tower. to be
Yeah, I
honest.
was going to say, we got plenty of feedback in here
That's a
from
big
that.
thunder boomer.
Looking, am I on camera, Jacob? Or am I going? Okay, just making sure that I'm not,
Full screen on your graphics?
if you don't mind. I just wasn't sure looking around here if I was,
Let me switch it over to max 2.
wasn't sure if I had the sky cams up or not.
That probably hit the tower.
But yes, we just heard quite the clap of thunder outside the studio right now.
You got your screen full.
Perfect. And we can see right down here, heading south of the Champaign area, looking more towards Savoy, if anything. That's where the thickest of the rain is. And we've heard the wind outside the studio here for most of the duration of the storm, and it is continuing to howl out there. And again, if I didn't have these up earlier, I'll take a look at them again here with the severe thunderstorm watch. That goes until 9 p.m. tonight. We'll keep an eye on that. We'll see if that changes or not. We have had a few lifted here within the past couple hours here, just as far as looking to see where some of these storms are heading off to, seeing where they're starting to die off just a little bit. We are dealing with that till around 9 p.m., which is also when that next set of storms is set to roll in too. We see heat advisory also until 7 p.m. tonight. It was a hot and muggy day today. That kind of fueled the fire as far as these storms that we're feeling right now, this region that we're looking at right here with those active advisories. That is really the place where we're seeing a lot of the action at right now as well.
Hey, you know that new warning? Well, so I saw too. Some folks said the stream flickered, so we
Yes,
definitely.
yes. Yeah, when I was still up on full screen, it just bounced around.
Yeah,
It
that's
was.
what it was.
We lost our image there for a sec.
So some of us lost power. We didn't entirely, but usually when that tower gets hit, sometimes things will kind of. So
That's-
I'll be curious. It looks like we're probably landing. I don't think there's any problems there, but that flickered for a second. Did you talk about that new warning?
I did not. Let me get that pulled up
Yeah, go ahead
there.
and pull that new one. That's going to include Vermilion County as well. That's that new one that they just extended out.
Yep, that's what
Is
it
that
looks
the one
like.
you were talking about?
This is the one that I was talking about just a minute ago.
Okay,
I
good.
just
think
hopped
that was
back
it.
in here,
I just
so
saw
I
a couple things happen.
wasn't entirely aware of what the newest developing situation is. But yes, we do have the severe thunderstorm warning now extending past parts of Champaign out there towards Vermilion, as well as Edgar counties now, and of course all of Douglas County looks like is in that severe thunderstorm warning as well. Taking a look at a couple of places feeling the impact right now. It looks like Tolono's starting to feel it. Pasodum, it's on its front door there down at Atwood and Hammond, starting to get quite a bit. It's even down there towards Dalton City, plenty of thick red there on the radar, plenty of rain, plenty of wind associated with this as well. We'll take a look at some of the gusts that we're reporting, or that the radar is indicating right now with some of these storms. It's looking like, and I hit the wrong button there, let me get that cleared up here in just a moment. But I believe it was 70-mile-an-hour gusts the last time I checked, and I'm not sure if that's updated since or not. So we're still dealing with plenty of straight line winds there, plenty of heavy rain, plenty of gusts here as well. We're going to peek at the sky cam here, see what it's looking like out here in Champaign. Yeah, it looks like most of it has blown over here. Looks like parts are just dealing with a little bit of rain right now. Not quite as gusty. That camera's sitting pretty sturdy right now, so not quite as much in the way of wind as what we saw earlier, but we can still hear it rumbling outside here in the studio, still hear plenty of rain, and just got a good bolt there on the iNet cam there as well. We're going to take a look at a couple of the storm reports that we have around here, see if there's anything. Looks like quite a bit of wind and quite a bit of lightning here up till now. We're going to scroll around here and take a look at what it's feeling like right now. Of course, we had plenty of heat there in the afternoon. Let's take a look at exactly, yep, and you can see that the temperatures have really dropped down here as it starts to pull through the area, and you can see that one little swath there, exactly where the storms are pushing through right now. Feeling like 72 here in Champaign, 71 in Taylorville, just plenty of instability. We've dropped about 30 degrees on our heat index within probably the last hour here. It felt like close to 105, I believe it was, here in Champaign just about an hour ago. Now it's dropped all the way down to 72, and of course, places that are still in the path of this storm still have those close to 100-degree heat index values, and of course those we expect to drop down as we head towards here later in the evening. And let me see if I can get one of my future tracks pulled up here real quick just to show what's going on. In the meantime, we'll keep that radar up. We do expect a little more in the way of some action here this evening as well. We said that severe thunderstorm watch goes until 9 p.m. And there is a reason for that, because we were looking like just a little bit of redevelopment here later after all of this passes through. Let me see if I can get my future track to pull up right now. But of course, keep the comments coming. Let us know what's happening in your area. You have the best view of the storms from your spot, and we would love to hear what's going on right now and just see what kind of action we're getting in parts of the area here as we deal with rain for what feels like the third straight day in a row here. Now, of course, it's not quite as flood driven here at the moment, but we are a little concerned tonight with some of those flood watches in effect as far as rain piling up in just a couple of places as we head into tonight as well. Let me see if I can get that future track here. It's evading my touch. There we go. Let's get that tossed in here real quick just to see what it's looking like here as we head towards the evening hours. Okay, yep, that's what we're seeing right now. As this starts to push through again, it'll pass on through right there, and you'll see a little bit of redevelopment there on the back end of that front. It's looking like areas like Springfield, Decatur, Taylorville, right in those areas where we have those flood watches at right now. That's when we're expecting to see just a lot of rain start to pour down there towards evening time there. It's what's showing at 7:30 is when we expect that to roll through. That's going to push through. That rain will weaken just a little as it passes through into the late evening hours. Of course, we're dealing with rain all night long. Might even see a little bit of more redevelopment there tomorrow morning as far as the rain goes. But once that morning threat is over, it's looking like we're just going to be dealing with a few little showers here and there throughout the afternoon, and might be dealing with a few more storms there towards the Thursday evening hours. But most of the threat is gone by tomorrow evening, and we're just looking at just some sparse chances as we roll into Friday as well. Today is that big rain threat. We're seeing a few chances here in the future as well, but again, today was that threat. We talked about it since last weekend. We noticed that there was a big jump in the probabilities here, that there was going to be this strong line of storms passing through tonight into tomorrow morning. It's looking like more of an overnight thing tonight than what it originally did. We thought it maybe linger around tomorrow a little longer, but that does not look to be the case anymore. And Jacob, I'm not sure if this was here just a minute ago, but we do have a severe thunderstorm warning down in Macoupin County. Was that there just a moment ago?
Yeah, that one's been there for a little bit.
Okay.
We'll keep an eye on that. That's also green, and it looks like going to be Jersey County, and that might be sneaking in Madison County. That's out of our area. We'll watch that. That's going to be downstream for probably Shelby, maybe Clip-Pena, but we'll keep an eye on that.
Of course, right now we're dealing with this one heading towards the east part of our viewing area. We can see quite the coverage area here on the severe thunderstorm warning. As you can see, the thickest part of the line is now starting to move through. We'll put that in motion here, and I advanced slides here. Let me get that corrected and get us back here on the radar. And we'll get that playing there in the loop just to see. And you can see this goes back quite a bit there towards 2 o'clock. This just all started to just spawn out of, it looked like we were going to be dealing with another front here towards the northwest part of the state. That started to die down. We did notice a front of clouds in front of that, and that's exactly what happened. It just exploded here this afternoon with all that instability, all that moisture, all that heat, of course, added to it, and we're just getting a line of storms here right now. It's looking like the strongest bit is right here in the Champaign, Douglas, and now looking like Coles County region of our area. Of course, we're still dealing with that in Piatt and Moultrie right now, as it looks like Hammond is getting the worst of it. It looks like it's starting to pass through that portion of the area right now. So, of course, this is the biggest thing that we're dealing with at the moment. We'll go through those alerts here again one more time if you just started tuning in. We do have that severe thunderstorm watch until 9 p.m. tonight. That covers all counties in the area except for just a few there. Livingston, Cass, and Crawford look to be in the clear. We do expect another cluster of storms to form, especially in the southwest corner of the viewing area, that could potentially bring some of those floods back to places that have been pretty flooded here the last several days, actually. I know Decatur saw some pictures of some flooded downtown there, and it's looking like there might be even more on its way there tonight. Still dealing with those heat advisories until 7 p.m. tonight. Of course, as this front starts to push through, that's pretty well the indicator that that is the end of the heat advisory. We saw that here in Champaign. It's feeling like 72 now. So as it brushes on through here, we're feeling quite the drop in temperature. Look at that flood watch page pulled up here again. We're particularly concerned about the western part of our viewing area. We saw on the future track just moments ago that there was plenty of thick batches of rain there that looks like that's going to start to form later in the evening, looking like between 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock tonight. Particularly concerned out there towards the southwest corner of the viewing area again. And you got something, Jacob?
Yeah, I was just thinking, one thing that's good at this is we're getting rain where we need it.
Yes, absolutely, yes. And it's looking like, at least right now, that the places that have been just hammered with rain here, like that southeast portion of the viewing area, that Effingham and Jasper County area, it's looking like it's just staying away from them and only going on the parts that we need right now. And we've had plenty of chances this entire summer for rain.
And it just misses us.
And it just misses us. But it's finally looking like we're starting to get quite a bit here. At least it sounds like it outside here at the studio. Just plenty of rain rolling through. We'll take a look at that sky cam again here real quick to see. Yep, it's looking like things are starting to clear up there as far as cloud cover. Let's see if we can pull up another camera here to possibly catch a little bit of what's starting to roll through the area. We'll take a look at Mattoon and Charleston here to see if we can get anything good there. And I believe I might have to get Jacob to do that. Jacob, do you mind turning the camera to either Matt Toon
What's that? Say it again?
Do you mind turning the camera to either Matt Toon or Charleston just to see what's starting to head
Sorry, I couldn't
that
get
direction?
the camera to work in that max too. So we'll have to. I don't know if you could. You want it? Which one are you wanting?
Either one, whichever one looks better at the moment, I think.
Probably going to be. I mean, we'll look at them both. Okay, you want me to switch those cameras for you?
Yes,
Okay,
if
here
you don't
comes
mind.
Charleston. That was looking to the north.
Yes.
So off in the distance, you'll see that storm.
Yep. Seeing those clouds start to roll in there towards Charleston. Of course, that is probably the closest camera we have to the beginning of the action right now. Of course, it just passed through here in Champaign. We saw that wall cloud. That's a good one right there in Matt Toon. You get another view
And
of
we're
that.
going to go to Danville too.
Get another
That
view of
storm's
that.
coming into Danville. I got no severe thunderstorm warning for Danville proper. It's south of I-74, southwest.
There we go. That is a
That's
fantastic
a good
look.
view there. That's what you're seeing coming in Danville. That camera, there it is. Somebody's riding their bike right now. All the lightning coming in. They'll be having a good time.
But
We
yeah,
got lots of photos too from folks too, and I'm putting those on my Facebook page here. And there's some impressive looking spots here.
that wall cloud starting to roll in here through Danville. That is quite the sight. It's quite the ominous looking sight there. And of course, this is a very strong front. We saw a 30-degree dip there in the heat index. That's plenty of cold air rushing in here behind this warm air, and it's providing for quite a sight there, at least in Danville anyway. And we noticed a little bit of it there on Matt Toon in Charleston as well. That is the direction the storm is heading here at the moment. We'll take another look here at our radar to see if anything's changed, and that's exactly the case right now as things start to blow through Champaign County here, looking more like it's on its way towards Vermilion and Edgar County, as well as Douglas down here to the south. And it looks like Tuscola is probably getting quite a bit of action right now as the thickest part of the radar starts to roll on through there. Tuscola and Arcola also getting a little bit of the action. Of course, we're paying attention to a little bit of development down here in Macoupin County as well. Have a severe thunderstorm warning that covers the southern part of Macoupin County. Looks like Plainview, Gillespie, and Bunker Hill are all part of that. We have another severe thunderstorm right behind it that might start to be a problem here once this first severe thunderstorm pushes out as well. Of course, we're dealing with a little bit down there
There's another
towards...
See the lightning flicker
Yes,
there?
I saw the lights flicker here in the studio again. We see a little bit down there towards St. Louis. Might start to sneak into the area here at some point, but right now our only active alerts are sitting right there at Macoupin County.
Just a couple notes. I'm actually a little more interested in that northern Shelby County feature.
Yes.
Southwest of Sullivan. And then the other thing is we just updated the severe thunderstorm watch, so we can get some all clears for some counties if you want to switch to
Yes,
that.
so we'll take a look at that here real quick once we check that out here in Sullivan. Look at our severe thunderstorm watch. So it looks like, yes, portions where it has finally started to clear through here. Portions in the northwest of the viewing area have started to lift those watches, and we'll probably see that continue here as this line of storms continues to move on. Probably see parts of Champaign, Piatt, and Macon County here lift eventually. And it's looking like, even though it says it's issued till about 9 p.m., it's looking like as this line passes through, they might start lifting county by county here some of our watches as well. And of course, like we said a few times now tonight, we are concerned about that flood situation. We do expect quite a bit of rain to pile up here in the western part of our viewing area, mainly the southwestern part. We'll get that future track pulled up here again real quick. And we can see this is what we're dealing with here at the moment as this line of storm starts to push through the Champaign area. And again, we see just quite a bit. That's that part down there towards St. Louis, west of St. Louis. It's looking like it's going to develop again here, anywhere between, looks like 6:45 and 7:15 tonight. And it's looking like Springfield, Decatur, Taylorville areas down there are going to be quite a bit of rain. And this does move with some pace to it, but again, those really thick shades of red. It's going to be some pretty torrential downpours there for bits at a time there. And of course, that will push on to eastern parts of the viewing area, but it'll have weakened just a little bit by then. So we're not too concerned about the flooding in that part, except maybe some of the southeastern counties that have seen plenty of rain here in the past few days. We'll notice that into Thursday morning as well, we do have that lingering chance for some storms brushing through the area. Again, we mentioned that by afternoon, that should be cleared out for the most part. Might be dealing with a little bit there in the late afternoon, but it looks like late morning into early afternoon, we are pretty well in the clear as far as just getting a little bit of break from the storms.
Yeah, and if we get more storms tomorrow, I don't think they're going to be anything like today. You know, there's not going to be the instability that's built up there. So we'll see some probably, kind of on the back side of that. So you see them kind of swirling around there. And that's why we left that chance into Friday and Saturday as well. So we'll worry about that, of course. But today's the big event. There's that Danville camera. Man, that just looks great, doesn't it?
Starting to push on in
Good
through there in Danville. It looks like they're going to get quite a bit of it here without here in not too much longer. You can see plenty of lightning associated with the storms. We've shown you that a few times here. Let's see if I can get that pulled up here on our radar just to show how many strikes of lightning that we've gotten here lately. If I can get that layer pulled up here. We got loop started. Get some of that lightning. There we go. So as you can see, plenty of lightning strikes. I mean, just there's no holes in this line at all. There's just plenty of lightning there throughout. We'll take a look here. Let me drag this across this little area and see what kind of 432 strikes. It's just been a ton. It's been a ton of lightning. Of course, we haven't been able to poke our heads out here in the studio yet, but I mean, we've heard plenty of rumbles of thunder. It's even felt like our studio has been hit a couple of times. We had a couple of screens flash. We've had our lights flicker in here just a little bit, as it looks like most of the heavy stuff has passed through Champaign, is now starting to advance to places like Vermilion, Edgar, and Douglas County as well. Again, we'll take a look at that severe thunderstorm watch. Shrunk just a little bit, looking like as this line passes through, they're lifting some of those watches. And of course, still dealing with a little bit of heat anywhere that has not yet caught this front. That is exactly what's fueling it right now. Plenty of heat, plenty of humidity. We've mentioned here for the past several days that today was going to be the day for some action. Of course, we had some action there on Monday, but we knew today we're looking at highs there in the low 90s. We're looking at humidity, 80-degree dew points. We knew there's plenty at play here in order for something like this to happen, a sort of line developing. And you can see where this line has actually passed through right now. You can see dew points have dropped, heat index values have dropped down into the low 70s, feeling like 72 here in Champaign, even though it felt like 100 there earlier in the afternoon. So a big drop off here as this front passes on through. We'll take a look at that Danville cam again, as it looks like things are starting to progress there in Danville just a little bit. Again, just about 2 minutes ago, we had a really impressive wall cloud forming over there in Danville. It's looking like it's starting to shelf cloud, excuse me, wall cloud, shelf cloud, my bad. Shelf cloud passing over Danville. Big difference between those two. There is not rotation associated right now. That is my mistake. I had one word in my mind, said the other. Shelf cloud passing over through Danville right now. And of course, dealing with some of those severe thunderstorm watches right now.
We're training you well, because we'll do that. We'll say things on TV.
Yeah,
like, what
exactly.
Go back
there.
I've been. So yeah, that happens. Do want to mention we're getting some photos in. Coming up at 5, what we'll expect is a live storm update on TV. And we haven't had yet at this point. I haven't seen in the chats of. Okay, actually, I just saw a semi flipped on Farmersville at 55, but I haven't seen really much in the way of damage at this point from our area. Kankakee been hit the hardest, it sounds like, from close by. There's going to be some sporadic damage that'll trickle on in from the wind here. But if you've got any reports, let us know how things are moving here. And what that means is when we get to the show time, we're going to wrap this up as well, probably about 4:50 or so. That'll give us time to switch for TV, and then you can watch the live updates on TV and on the app. We do stream live on the app as well. We'll have updates and storms coming on through, so just some programming notes there.
Take a look here back in Danville. Looks like things are starting to progress again. And it sounds like it's pretty clear outside the studio right now. Sounds like it's blown overhead quite a bit. We had plenty of lightning, plenty of thunder associated with all that. Like we said, this felt like the studio rumbled a couple times, even had our screens flicker, as it now looks like it's passed through Champaign, starting to look at places like Vermilion and Edgar County is where it's on its way next, as well as it passes through Douglas. Mentioned Tuscola, looks like it's getting hit pretty hard, starting to pass over there just a little bit. And I'll pull up that lightning just again, just to say that there has been plenty of lightning associated with the storms. And again, there's not a whole lot of holes there. Anytime when this storm is passing through, it's going to just pretty well look like a light show here for a little bit as it starts to roll through parts of the air. And of course, looking down here to the southwest, we do have that severe thunderstorm warning still active out there for Macoupin County, and it's looking like another round is going to pass in there. It looks like there's another one out there by Jersey that's going to start rolling in here not too long from now. But again, those severe thunderstorm watches are issued out there tentatively until 9 o'clock. It's looking like they've been lifting it as these storms have passed through. We'll look at that map here again just one more time. Notice that the northwest portion of the area now has been lifted. They're in the clear. And of course, we're still dealing with those heat advisories throughout parts of the area. Still feeling like 100 degrees in some places here. I'll get that heat index pulled up here. Still feeling like 100 today. We mentioned that it felt like a muggy day. You just felt like something was going to happen all day. Just sitting out there, it was hot, it was muggy. It just felt miserable out there all day long. And of course, that is all the ingredients that you need in a severe storm situation.
Let me in here real quick. You keep talking about that. Let me just put the radar back up. I need to pass the recorder on.
Yeah,
I'll just get the radar. You keep talking there for me.
Yes, so let me get some stuff pulled up here so I can continue to keep track of what's.
Oh yeah, just switch there. You should have the monitor going to be, hang on. So button 6 there. There, now your Max is full screen. There
Okay,
you go.
perfect. So now this is what we're looking at. This is the most of our attention right now as this severe storms start to pass through parts of, again, Champaign, looking like it's starting to clear out of the Champaign downtown area, starting to push through southeastern parts of the county, but it's looking like Vermilion and Edgar is where it's on its way now, as well as Douglas is starting to feel a little bit of it. And of course, Sullivan looking like it's getting hit pretty hard now. Let's take a look at that Skycam one more time there in Danville just to see how. I got Champaign pulled up here. I switched computers. Let me get that up here in just a moment. There's Danville. So yeah, looking like it's starting to pass through. We saw a very impressive looking shelf cloud earlier, and it's now starting to pass over. You can see a couple of raindrops there on the cam as the storm starts to open up just a little bit there. And of course, I'll pull up this radar one more time just to mention that around 2 o'clock today, we didn't see a whole lot out there. It all just started to develop there in a flash. Let me get some of these lightning strikes off just so you can see a little better there. There wasn't a whole lot there until about 2 o'clock, and we had a couple of cells pop up here and there. I know I was here in the studio alone, and I just noticed something over there in Morgan County just start to pop up, and then a little bit popped up there around Macon County. And since then, a line has developed, and it's brought with it some pretty strong winds at times. It's looking like it's mainly just lightning and winds associated with this, of course, heavy rain at times, but nothing quite too stationary like we've seen the past few days. So any rain that brushes through right now will not just stand over in one spot like we've seen the past couple days. Get that future track here one more time. We've noticed that flood watch. This is exactly what we're looking at here, that southwest part of the area. It looks like particularly Sangamon County and Christian County are going to get the bulk, as well as Macon County there. We're going to get the bulk of that rain, and that's exactly where we have these flood watches placed at right now. We'll show you that here in just a sec. Once that passes through, again, we're dealing with lingering showers and storms throughout the night as it pushes through eastern parts of the area. You may see a little bit of redevelopment as well in the morning, too, seeing some heavy showers and storms there in the morning over the Decatur area. But again, we mentioned early parts of the morning we'll be dealing with a few of those storms, but once that clears on out, it's looking like the middle of our afternoon should be good. And I'll back up just a little bit there. We might see a little bit of storms. We might see a little bit there in the way of storms as we head to tomorrow afternoon, but like Jacob said earlier, we're not really seeing much in the way of severe weather tomorrow. Of course, not quite as hot tomorrow. Still dealing with that humidity tomorrow, but again, things will have toned down just a touch after this blows on in today. We'll take a look and see if we've got any gusts here worth noting. Looking like a couple of places there in the 20-mile-an-hour range as it starts to push its way now to the eastern part of the viewing area. We'll take a look at that radar again, see what's happening out in the northeast here. Again, that severe thunderstorm warning still active for parts of Champaign, Douglas, Coles, Vermilion, and Edgar County. And again, like we said, plenty of lightning associated with this. And although these storms may not be very long-lived, they're going to have quite a bit of bite to them. We've seen plenty of wind. We was just howling out here at the studio earlier, and of course, plenty of lightning. So make sure that you are in a safe place there in your house to avoid lightning. Don't stand too close to the windows there because there is plenty of lightning out here. And again, I said I would get back to that flood watch. This is the area that we're looking at for that flood threat tonight. We're dealing with flooding in southeastern parts of our area, but we're particularly concerned about the western half of the area, particularly the southwest. I mentioned Sangamon, Christian, and Montgomery counties, as well as Macon County. Looks like the area that is going to get the heaviest rain tonight, as there is another round coming in from the St. Louis area that should be here around the 6:30 to 7 o'clock range. It might bring with it some of that heavy rain again and cause a couple of flooding situations. And again, we see here how humidity has changed here within the last couple of hours. Still dealing with some of that pink in there. That's anywhere between 75 and 80 degrees in the dew point. We can see moisture has dropped off substantially for the central parts of the area. That's 70 there in Champaign, 69 in Taylorville. I'll get that heat index up here again real quick just to show how things have dropped off here in the last hour or so. Once I can find it on here, I'll have the radar up here in the meantime. But yeah, we mentioned that those heat index values, it was around 100 a day here in Champaign. Now it's dropped all the way down. I think last I checked it was 72, so it's just felt like a night and day difference here as these storms start to push through parts of the area. It's looking like we have a severe thunderstorm warning that has now started to push into Montgomery County. Get rid of that lightning there. As it starts to end its time in Macoupin County, they're still dealing with plenty of that south of Carlinville in the Bunker Hill area. Now it's looking like Hillsborough is next in line there for that severe thunderstorm. It looks like two different severe storms have kind of merged into one. I knew there was one out here by Jersey earlier. It's looking that's kind of just become part of the one that was going through Carlinville as well. Of course, we have another severe storm down here in the southwest that will make its way back up into, looks like, the Macoupin and Montgomery area here in not too much time as well. And again, still dealing with that severe thunderstorm watch until 9 p.m. They've slowly lifted the watch as we have gone through parts of the day. It's looking like just as this line passes through, they're going to start lifting it county by county. And we'll look at Danville here again just to see everything that's going on there. Yes, and pretty dark skies there. We saw an impressive looking shelf cloud earlier. Pavement's not looking too wet there in town. It looks like it may have not come down quite as hard as it certainly looked like it would there for a little bit. Get that radar pulled up here yet again. And of course, we got plenty of coverage coming up here on the 5 o'clock show here on WCIA. Jacob Dickey will get all that covered for you, and he'll walk you through what we're looking at here through the rest of tonight into tomorrow morning. But again, since about 2 o'clock today, we've been dealing with these storms. All looked pretty quiet up until then. I remember being in here around 1:30 and not seeing a whole lot on the Doppler. I was just keeping my eye out in case something happened. And of course, something definitely happened here. We had a few cells pop up, and now a line has formed. We got plenty of lightning, plenty of wind with these storms. And we're going to see this continue here into parts of the evening. I'll get that future track up there one more time just to show what we're looking at here as we head towards the evening hours. Again, plenty of heavy rain looking like it's heading towards the Springfield and Decatur area tonight. That's where we have some of those flood watches in effect. And as that pushes through, the rain will weaken just a little bit as it heads to some of the eastern parts of our viewing area. But again, more development there in the morning. Might even see some extra heavy rain into the Decatur area as well. And I will kick it over to Jacob now. He's got a little bit more to look at here. What do you got, Jacob?
Yeah, we're going to wrap up our coverage here shortly and just get ready for the newscast. That's coming up in about 10, 12 minutes from now. And kind of recap what's going on. This is a look at the warnings. Again, we've got this warning here for Champaign, Douglas, Edgar, Vermilion, Moultrie, and northern Coles County. Did get a report the sirens are going off in Hammond. I don't know why that's the case. Storms are past Hammond. But that's something I saw, and that may have been earlier as well. Or maybe they're calling for fire. I don't know what the deal will be for that. So we will keep an eye on that. The other warnings here, we'll watch these storms down here in Macoupin and Montgomery County carried to the north and east and see where they move on through. That later development, I don't think there'll be a severe threat. I think there'll be a flooding threat, but we're going to keep watching these storms carry on to the east and a little bit northeast at some spots too, and mainly the wind threat. But I haven't gotten a whole lot in the way of wind damage reports. That's great. I'm okay with that. So if there's wind damage out there, of course, we'll get some reports that sneak on in. Seems like with the torrential rain from these storms coming on down, it comes down in a quick hurry, Seth. I mean, it's been 1, 2, 3 inch hour rainfall rates.
Absolutely.
And in Champaign here, we got a quick 1 to 2 inches in town. I think that was less than an hour or so, probably.
Yep.
And so that certainly caused some flooding in spots. That water will drain pretty quick. We've got some photos on the news page. We've heard the viaduct in Vine Street is flooded out for a little bit, and that's just going to happen with these types of situations. So that's what we got here, these storms carrying on through. We are not abandoning you. Danville, Georgetown, Sidell, Newman, Oakland, Mattoon, Charleston. We are just transitioning to the TV side of things. You'll watch our coverage on TV on the WCIA3 news and weather apps. We stream to those, and we will continue to monitor. We're also going to watch these storms coming out of St. Louis. Those probably going to fill in the southern half of the area as well. And we'll take one last look here. Just kind of peek at the wind and see if we've got it. There's a core of wind right there. That's going to be coming close to Litchfield, and that should carry to the east and northeast towards Hillsborough, Nokomis eventually, into southern Christian County, probably close to Pana would be where that ends up. I think that stays south. But that's certainly a Litchfield right now, getting some gusty winds out of that with that little core that's showing up. And then I'll switch over to the Lincoln radar. And you'll see here Sullivan, some wind coming in there. Humboldt, Arcola, we'll watch that. The general direction of that, probably going to carry it straight east towards Humboldt. So Cooks Mills, those areas. I know we got some viewers out there. I'll probably get a photo from Wendy here before all is said and done. Then some gusty winds at times here, southeastern Champaign County. That doesn't look as strong as earlier, but it's still something to watch. And then we may have some gusty winds in the Danville area sneaking on through. We're just going to watch and keep an eye. You see this line right here? That's that leading edge. That's the shelf cloud. So you'll get the cloud rolling over, and as that happens, the wind hits, and then the storms will be a little bit delayed behind that. That's the way things work here with these types of situations. So that is what we have. We're going to wrap up our coverage on our digital platforms here for a little bit. If needed, we'll jump back on at 5:30 and just kind of talk through these storms. We're getting the rain in Champaign County. We don't mind that, but certainly we don't want to have to deal with any of the severe weather. We've got some storms here, and we've got some indications there may be damage. But we'll keep an eye on that. In fact, just got power line down in Hoopston. So there's a sign of some heavier wind up in that area. So we'll see that happen. That happens when the wind picks up around here. I'm meteorologist Jacob Dickey, forecaster Seth Bohnhoff. Come say hi real quick. We'll wrap up. You can kind of peek in the camera.
Yep.
And stand here. We're going to wrap up our coverage. Be sure to join us. We'll have updates at 5, perhaps on digital again, 5:30. We'll kind of play the situation out and see what's needed. And then 6 o'clock newscast, we've got that. And then we'll be here through the evening to watch for that flooding threat. And then you'll be here in the morning again with Jack.
That's right. Yep.
Kind of watching to see how those rain and storms carry on
Exactly.
through the night if needed. So that's what we got. Hope you enjoyed coverage. First time. What do you think?
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it was good
We had
little,
a good time.
good little bit.
We always
Yeah,
have a good
caught me
time.
by surprise. I was here alone when we were starting to put some of this
Yeah.
together, so I was scrambling around getting some social media
we're
posts out
trial
there.
by fire for him. So that's what we got. So thanks for watching. Thanks for keeping up with us here. Make sure you download that WCIA3 weather app. You get those alerts straight to your home on there. You can say, I'm going to put my address or my town in there. And then whenever a severe weather alert is issued, you'll get noticed by that. And so that's a good way to stay connected. And of course, we stream to digital platforms and have a good time. So thanks so much. We'll see you on WCIA3 News at 5 and 6, maybe 5:30. We'll see how it is. And then we'll see if we need any more coverage through the evening. Take care.